If you're making people like and trust you, you're manipulating them. You cannot make people like and trust. The no, yeah, that's on you. Networking. The like and the trust has just got to take care of itself.
Hello, everybody. This is Jake Sensing, host of the Jake and Gino podcast. You're my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, the chef, the father of six, the best-selling author, the G-Daddy. Gino Barber, how's it going?
Jake, I'm a lucky man today. You know why I'm a lucky man today?
Tell me, sir.
That's the second time I get to see you, and I get to hang out with the Bill Ham today.
TBH.
I'm just saying, what a lucky guy I am.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for ruining my intro, but I'm going to do it anyways. Today's guest left corporate aviation life and began his multifamily journey with a single duplex. It's kind of weird, a single duplex, but anyways, and a dream that grew to over 1,500 apartment units. He now has a 20-year real estate career, and we're excited he's going to be joining us on stage at Multifamily Mastery 4 this October 23rd and 24th at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando on the big stage. This is what they call A++ or double A. It's the cat's meow. This is the nice stuff. It's a really beautiful venue, top-notch, water park. We are bringing the pain. Now, the reason I mention all this, because I'm proud of it, but also I'm going to leave this to you. Why don't you talk about how we met Bill and the dystopian conditions that we're in Atlanta that day? A little bit different, right?
It was a sunny day in July, everybody. Picture this, 2019. Gino walks into this hotel. Wasn't the safest of places, but it's okay. We did it. About 100 plus people in attendance. The first thing I see—
It wasn't our event, okay? It was not our event. I just want to be very clear about this.
I see this big machine in the hallway with these big tubes leading up. The air conditioner wasn't working. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see water dripping down in a bucket. But for me, it was one of the most powerful days that I've had with Jake and Gino, because I walk in there, Jake and I did our usual stick. We had fun. I remember that.
Dude, I was clapping a breakdown that day in football, right? I got everyone stand up doing a breakdown clap.
It was great. It was a great group of people. And every time you go to an event in real estate, you always find like-minded people. There's always something you pull away. And at that event, there was the Bill Ham sitting there, and he heard us and he saw us. And afterwards, we didn't have a coaching program. And I was fortunate that someone introduced myself to Bill. And actually, we didn't even meet at the event. He went home because he lives in Atlanta. I was there. I'm like, dude, I want to meet Bill. But Bill left. I got on the call with him. He's like, you have a coaching program now. He became our very first coach. We built the program, ready, fire, aim. More importantly, over the last 4 years, I don't know, I can let him speak to it, but he's revolutionized our lives, the Jake and Gino community. Our students have closed over 20,500 units in the last 3 or 4 years before we even had a coaching program. So why do I ramble on about this, everybody? This is very important. It's proximity. These live events are everything. And I was stupid enough early on in my career. I couldn't go. I couldn't take the weekend off. It was too expensive. That really slowed me down. That cut off about 4 years of my investing life. I should have done it sooner. That was the biggest regret that I ever had. I should have gone to the events. And then this story highlights it. Jake and I probably wouldn't be here talking to you, or maybe we'd take another 2 or 3 years to find somebody else. But it's value for value. Bill had tremendous value. He hated coaching. He joined the Jake and Gino community. I think he's revolutionized his life by writing a best-selling book, coming out with another best-selling book, doing what he loves. And I think that's what's important. Go to these events, invest in yourself, raise capital, learn how to partner, find a partner there, and just have a lot of fun. October 23rd and 24th, Bill's going to be teaching there. He's going to be teaching about syndication. Come out there. $300 for a ticket. What is $300? Don't drink Starbucks for the next couple of weeks, and you'll save up to $300.
What's $225 in 2019? If I'm doing the math correctly. I'm just saying.
Jake, I mean, rambling on and on, but seriously, I'm so thankful of that July day in Atlanta with no air conditioning that we met. And 2.5 years later,
I don't know. I was still a little scared. We looked across and it was like the old Olympics that they had there back in the day. And it was like all grass growing over me. I honestly felt like it was sort of like, I know it was in New York City, but the Will Smith movie, what was it?
Yes.
Omega Man.
No,
not Omega Man.
Legend. I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. It was I Am a Legend in Atlanta. I was waiting for like the Ford. Yeah, I was waiting for like the Ford GT to swing by, and he was hunting deer out there. It felt weird, but we got through it. It was a great event, and we met the TBH. So,
Bill, give me your thoughts about that day. I mean, I for me, it was, like I said, it was an amazing day. Coming like crappy event, it turned out to be an amazing day in our lives.
Yeah, the first comment was it was 2018, not 2019.
Was it
It's
2018?
2018. Yeah. And as you were sitting here talking, so I was sitting there thinking, I thought it was longer than that. I literally just scrolled back through my coaching timesheet, like as you were sitting there talking, and looked back, and the first time you ever paid me for coaching was mid-summer of 2018.
So maybe it was 2017. It might have been 2017 then.
Late 2017. It's almost been 4 years.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So that was 2017. That event was 2017.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we got started right after that. Yes. It's been a little longer than we might have realized. See, it's been like 4 years. It's been like 4 minutes, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Water.
Wow.
Just kidding. So I always say to my wife, like, oh, we've been married 12 years. Oh, it feels like 12 minutes, honey. Underwater. So it's been like 4 minutes, holding my breath. No, just kidding. It's been great. It's been a great ride. Yeah, that day, I had been working for a different educational program, like Voldemort. I'll leave him unnamed, but and whose name we can't say. And I had really just gotten tired of working for the individual and really had gotten burned out and had quit teaching real estate in general. And which I love teaching, and it really kind of sucks that I wasn't doing it. And then I was invited by the host of that event, as you were, to just come and give a presentation. And I did. And I heard you guys give your presentation. And I thought, finally, somebody that's in the business, that's real, that's honest. It wasn't some slick sales pitch, and I really connected with your organic message and who you guys were. And that's when I approached you and Josh and said, hey, let's, you guys need a coach. I'm a coach. And and the rest is history. We've been here ever since.
Bill, what about you and the importance of these events? Not only just that event, but I know you raise capital events, that you've spoken to do that. You've written books for your credibility. Give your take on why everyone listening to this needs to go to more live events.
Raise money, partnering, networking. I mean, why spend your time and your energy and your money out in the world looking for leads when you can walk into a room with 600, 700, 800, 900 people right there? They're all there for one reason. They're all there with one purpose. They're there for real estate. I mean, why go fishing when you can shoot to fish in a barrel? I mean, it's like, why go out here to go to different groups and different events and different things, which are good. You should do that. But all that running around is concentrated right here at MM4. And when we started, I think you had a room of like 600 people and you just bumped it up to like 900. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're looking at a room of potentially like 900 real estate oriented people. Why aren't you going to be there is the only question I can ask. It's like, that's 900 people you can possibly meet, network with, build your relationships with. If you need people that might be sponsors, we call them business, that might come in and help bring the balance sheet, there's going to be people in there that do that. If you're looking for investors that might just want to invest in a deal, there's going to be people in there that do that. If you're looking for somebody to find you deals, there's going to be people to do that. It's like, it's all right there. Why miss that concentration of people? I mean, it's just, because you said $300. I mean, that's really like 2 trips to Starbucks, isn't it? I mean, and some gas money over there.
With Gino's family.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, it's like, the value is way out of line for what you're paying for. You're getting so much more value than what you're paying for. I would highly recommend it. Me personally, no sales pitch here. I've raised millions of dollars for real estate transactions. And I will tell you the majority, I'd say a solid 95% of the money that I've raised for all my deals have come from rooms just like yours. Networking events, rooms where the people were there for real estate, not online, not because I have a podcast and I interviewed some successful people, not because of any of those things. Even though I have a book, even though I have all that information, I still raise money from just walking around, meeting people. There's no greater place to build a relationship than at the bar over a beer, talking real estate, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the majority of the business is really done. It's after the event, it's at dinner, it's in the lobby. That's where the real money's made.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because there's tiers to this as well. There's the deal room, right, where everyone's in there to network, and there's different vendors that you need to build your business. So that's a component of it. Inside the room, you're getting real-time education on multifamily, on buy right, on manage right, on finance right. And then if you even want to level up more than that, there's a VIP dinner where the 3 of us are going to be there. Some of our other experts are going to be there, basically getting rapid fire questions while people are eating. We're networking at a very intimate level. And prior to that, there's a cocktail hour. So it's have it your way. If you want just the education, boom. You want the high level networking, boom. You want the vendors and the resources, boom. It's there. We're giving it to you.
So what Jake is trying to say is it can be the financial education for smart people. It's the
Oh,
financial
because the lazy
vacation.
river is there too, and Gino's going to be drinking daiquiris afterwards, floating around in an inner tube, right?
I will not be drinking. I may be singing. I'm not going to be drinking daiquiris. The kid's going to be there. Bill, what are you going to be teaching at that event? I mean, let's share a little bit about syndication. I mean, syndication is a powerful term, powerful tool. It's one of the tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And if you're syndicating a deal, like you said, raising capital and being there and learning that
Yeah.
model.
Well, one, on stage, yes, my presentation will be on syndication and raising money. Off the stage, I'm teaching throughout the room all day, every day. And so I'm networking, I'm talking to students, I'm answering questions. So what am I teaching at the event? Everything. You know, what am I teaching while I'm on stage? Yes, that will be syndication, but realize that the education doesn't stop when we step off the stage. It's continuous. You know, I mean, I field questions and I sit down and work with students. We look at case studies, we look at your deal, we take a look at your numbers. If you've got questions, if you've got something you want us to look at, bring it. You know, we'll grab a cup of coffee, we'll sit down and look at what you're working on. So to answer what I'm going to teach is, couldn't even fit that into this podcast, you know, but on stage, yes, I'm going to be teaching syndication, and that's going to be specifically the ins and outs. What do we need to do to be able to go out and raise private money? What are the laws that we need to be aware of? I'm not an attorney, but I am going to give you some direction and certainly introduce you to some attorneys, show you some areas to get the legal advice. We're going to talk about how to be valuable. That's the big one. And that's one of the big questions I get these days is, if I'm new to this business, how do I create value for a millionaire? Why would someone that wants to sponsor my deal or you know, co-sign a mortgage and make the deal, why me? Why would they come work with me if I'm new to the business? I'm going to answer that question for you on stage. I'm going to show you how to be valuable and how to get out and raise money and to get your own business started. And that's largely what we're going to be teaching: syndication, real estate syndication, raising private money, you know, all that.
So what you just said, we were able and had the honor of interviewing Sharon Lechter last week, one of the authors of Rich Dad Poor Dad. She's written 15 books. She's an amazing woman. And what she said, her catalyzing statement is, have I created value today? And that really struck with me. Now that you just said that here, how do I create value? It's very hard to watch a YouTube video and get that answer. And it's really important when you're sitting down and you're starting your journey, where is your value? When you're on the phone with Bill, Bill's going to tell you, hey, you're 4 hours from a market. That's not your value. Are you able to jump on a plane? Are you able to be boots on the ground? Are you able to raise capital? Are you able to be direct to seller? You need to find your value. That's why you need coaching. That's why you need mentorship, because that question most of us don't ask. The first question we ask is deal flow. Can I get a deal? That's the wrong question to be asking yourself. Where do you fit into this business? What resources do you have? What time do you have? And then ultimately, the second part is what market. But more importantly, Bill, as far as syndication goes, can you give us some tips on some of the biggest mistakes you made in syndication? Because I know a lot of people out there are going to like, yeah, when I find the deal, the money's coming. So give me a couple of tips, because I love your response. I love your...
I was thinking, how much time do you have? I've got a few. Come on. Yeah, what I would say by my first tip really extends from my largest mistake. I wouldn't even say my first mistake, but the biggest one. I like leading out with problems and mistakes. Let's just go ahead and air those right on out. I lost $150,000 one time because I was cocky and arrogant. So my first piece of advice is don't get arrogant. Being a coach and working in some of those rooms, got arrogant. And I thought, you know, I have a network, I have a database, I know all these people. Well, what I really had was just a stack of business cards. And let me go ahead and tell you, a stack of business cards, a network does not make, okay? So I went around all these rooms and I'm RIA groups and all this garbage and I'm collecting business cards and people are like, yeah, great. You know, we like you, this, that, and the other, give us a call when you have a deal. Well, the problem was I never followed up. I didn't build a relationship. I started with a business card and thought that's good enough. No. It's a terrible mistake. And so I would go out, I get a deal. I think, well, I'm awesome. I've got a huge stack of business cards. This will be easy. And I got cocky and I was wrong and I failed in the raise and I lost $150,000 in earnest money. So my advice here is never get arrogant, never get ahead of yourself. You know,
Systematize the relationship, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have a relationship of any kind. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was just collecting business cards, not following up. And then, you know, a year or so later, I would call these people up and say, hey, it's Bill. You know, I got a deal. They're like, I'm sorry, you're who again? Like, ooh, that
humbling.
Cool.
That's humbling.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Holy cow. So that really boils down to those three things: the know, like, and trust. right? Let me tell you, 2 of the 3 are crap. Nobody's talking about that. No like and trust. 2 of them are worthless. Like and trust, worthless. You can't control it. If you're making people
helpful,
right? If you're making people like and trust you, you're manipulating them. You cannot make people like and trust. The no, yeah, that's on you. Networking, that we can control. The like and the trust has just got to take care of itself. You just got to let that fall where it falls. So this no like and trust is largely a garbage concept, because no, the networking, putting ourselves, that's the only thing that matters. Go out there, network, show up at MM4, meet 900 people, and let the like and trust business take care of itself. Forget that. That's nonsense.
They got to trust the track record, though. The track record's got to be there.
Fine. Yeah. What if you don't have a track record?
You got to start somewhere, right?
You can't control the like and the trust. And so since you can't control it, there's no need to be worried about it. Just let that take, be an honest person, be yourself, do your thing, let the like and trust go. The no, yeah, that's on you. That's networking. That is absolutely in your control. Showing up at MM4 and meeting 900 people, absolutely in your control. How many of them like you, trust you? Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to trust you. So what? Don't worry about that. The networking, you better get to it. And that's my biggest tip and my biggest mistake was I was leaning on the like and trust. Oh, everybody knows me. I was on stage. They like and trust me. Yeah, but they don't know me. See, I didn't follow up. I didn't establish a proper relationship. I got arrogant, and I got arrogant with this like and trust business. And so that's my message, is drop that. Be known, right? Let the rest of it handle itself. The known part, you need to take action. You need to take responsibility on that.
Bill, let's dive in real quick before we touch on creative cash for a minute or two. But let's dive in real quick of the concept. Bill has an uncanny ability to pull concepts together and to create them. He didn't invent anything, but he's really good at pulling things together. And the 3 pillars of real estate, why this is really important with syndication, the 3 pillars, everybody: market cycle, debt, and exit strategy. And let's talk about that for 2 minutes and how that affects syndication and what you're seeing going on in the market today.
Yeah, we have those 3 concepts. And what I've realized, as you pointed out, I did not make up market cycles, debt, or exit strategies. I brought the concept together in this easy to swallow format. But yeah, basically what I've realized over my career in the business is that when people make money, it's because they've aligned those 3 concepts. And when they lose money in real estate, when they lose money, it's because they've gotten one of those 3 concepts out of whack. So you need to know where you are in the market cycle. Where are we, and where do we believe the economy and the real estate market is going? And what are the upcoming signals of this market? So where are we at? Where are we going? Then you've got to ask yourself, this is part of your deal analysis. What is my exit strategy? See, most people don't analyze a deal from backwards to forwards, and that's a mistake. They say, what do I want as a cash flow? Great. Yeah, fine. But what's the exit strategy? You got to know how you're going to get out of the deal. You got to know, is it a takeout? Is it refinance? Is it a sale? What's going on? And then where are we going to be at in that whole time? So if it's a 2-year hold, a 3-year hold, a 5-year hold, where do we believe the market cycle will be at when this exit shows up? And then third, did we get the right loan that allowed us to exit? What if you get a 3-year bridge loan with a 5-year hold period? That doesn't work. You're going to get kicked out of the deal 3 years in. What if you want to fix and flip the property? You want to buy, renovate, refi. So you want to buy it and refi it and flip it, and you go get a 10-year fixed Fannie Mae loan. No, see, that comes with a giant prepayment penalty, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. So it's about knowing where you're at in the cycle, what it is you want to do with the property, and then making sure that you get the proper loan that'll allow the other 2 pieces to come together. And I've made money with that concept, and I've lost money with that concept. Is mistiming the market, or getting the wrong debt, or just not having a proper exit strategy at all. I would say the exit strategy is probably the biggest one. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see people new to the business, is they either don't know how to create an exit strategy, or they don't know how to make that a part of their analysis. And so that's huge. Most people will come at an exit strategy with the age-old adage, you make money when you buy. Let me tell you, that's a load of nonsense right there. That's probably some of the worst real estate / business advice I've ever heard. It's a meme that we've got to get out of our heads and out of the market in general. You make money when you buy. Really, ask anybody that ever went into foreclosure how much money they made when they bought. It's a nonsense concept. If you make money when you buy, then the exit strategy is irrelevant. All you have to do is buy real estate, and you're guaranteed, promise you'll make money, right? It's just buy real estate, guaranteed you'll make money. Well, no, that's a silly statement. Why? Exit strategy. You might create the opportunity to make money when you buy. You might create value when you buy. You make money when the damn check clears the checking account after the sale and you're out of the deal. Then you've made money. Nobody that hasn't exited has made money. I'm telling you, you haven't. You cannot sit around thinking that you make money when you buy. You're going to go into foreclosure with that mindset. You've got to have an exit strategy, and you make money when you exit the deal properly and profitably. Then you've made money. Otherwise, let me put it like this: if you make money when you buy, why would anybody even talk to the three of us? Why would anybody even sign up for a program? Why even study real estate? It's like, I do buy it, right? You just make money when you buy it. You don't need a program. You don't need.
But to be clear, because I don't want folks to get confused, if you refi all your cash out of the deal, right? Bill's considering that an exit. Okay, so you got your money back. You're up on your existing cash, and you're making more going forward. So I just don't want folks getting kind of confused here. But what if I want to hold the property?
Exit, but you still own the property.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
I got my money back. I have, non-recourse debt on it, and I'm getting monthly, draws. That's
recourse debt can be converted to recourse. Non-recourse can be converted to recourse. Be careful with that concept.
I completely disagree with you, Bill. Like, I want to stack as large of a
non-recourse can be converted to recourse.
No. That I completely disagree. Is that like, and even from the standpoint, like, I want to build a large cash flowing portfolio, and I don't want to exit at all. And I just want to be clear, like, the exit can be a refi in terms of what you're talking about, but I have no interest
I love that concept.
in exiting these deals, because
Legacy
ultimately, right. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to, we're selling like a 15 unit right now. And I'm like, even like questioning, because we don't have debt on it. It went up really well. We paid it off. But I just don't want to sell.
Spin on that.
Yeah.
The termites eat that thing to the ground. You're going to want to get out of it. We've
had termites, and that's why we have a managed
property long enough for it to rot. You will always want to get out of a deal eventually. And this cracks me up when people
potentially though, like, we have 60s product, and we've been doing upgrades to it. We've upgraded some of the plumbing too, and it's brick. And if you look in New York, and some of this stuff that's built in the late 1800s is still there, and there's people getting shit rich on it. So I'm not saying stuff will last forever, but I'm saying, I agree with your points in the market cycle, but if you buy right, you manage right, and you finance right, it's a combination of all of the above. And it's not that it's not going to take work, but to stay in a deal, you have to be willing to put the work into it to extend the life of that asset. And it may be plumbing. Like, we can't also, like, while I know we talk about like the CapEx tsunami, but also you can hit this stuff head on, because there is inflation, and address this stuff to extend the life of an asset. So I just want to be clear that, yes, you can get paid and be done with it when you exit, but also, like, to me, the scariest thing is to not have the real estate, because that's been the vehicle that's changed my life so much.
I think the most important thing, though, is it comes down to your goals. I mean, some people don't want to hold this forever, and some people do want to hold and manage it forever. So it really comes down to look at what you're trying to accomplish. I err on the side with Jake. I want to own these assets longer for cost segregation, for cash flow. But Bill talks about market cycle, and it's important. What assets are we buying now? We're buying newer assets now in this part of the cycle, because the older assets are a little more expensive, and we don't want to have that CapEx tsunami. And these assets are going to last for the next 15, 20 years if we continue to reinvest.
Well, and the price of the older assets has gone up to make some of the newer stuff look better, or potential development, right?
Exactly. So just remember, everybody, we are all throwing different concepts and different strategies out here. It's incumbent upon you to look within what you're trying to accomplish, and then learning market cycle, debt, exit strategy, syndication. I want to touch on creative cash really quick, because this is another one where we're talking about market cycle, and you're probably going to be discussing it with a lot of students. You've had a lot of students talking about master lease options, and then talking about seller financing. How do you see this? Why did you write this book, and how do you see this book fitting in with this part of the market cycle?
Yeah, I wrote the book because, well, actually, I literally created the material back in the last recession, in the 2008 through 2012 kind of recession is where I created the material. And they never really brought it back out to market. And the reason I wrote the book now, in why the material, better answer, why the material is so relevant now and will become relevant, is because of where we're at in the market cycle and what is about to occur. And it's a long conversation, but the way the debt is structured and the way most deals are structured right now, there are going to be a whole lot of motivated sellers in the near future. And when they become motivated, It's going to be because of the debt structure that they got wrong in the market cycle. And I'm predicting a lot of sellers that are going to have difficulty exiting the asset. And therefore, they're going to really, really need a solution to getting out of that deal. And that's where creative financing is going to come in, is to help people solve that problem. Maybe a mistake that they made. Maybe largely, I think most people are going to make a mistake in the exit strategy, already have made the mistake. And when they realize it, they're going to need a solution, and creative financing is going to be the solution. There's a lot of different points we can make in there. We can spend a lot of time, but age of building, and it's kind of what Jake and I were talking about a little bit. But yeah, as these buildings start to get older, there's a lot of other aspects we're not talking, especially in a long-term hold. If you want to sell, debt is going to play heavily in the age of that building, especially going forward. And what I'm betting, well, what I know is going to happen is the debt is going to start making you escrow tremendous amounts of money to deal with capital expense needs on an aging building. And that's going to make selling difficult for a lot of people. And so we're going to have a lot of opportunity over the next 2-3 years to use creative financing to solve problems. Again, we can go to a long conversation about that, but yeah, the age. I mean,
you're seeing in Florida now where they had that condo collapse, and the biggest issue with those buildings in Florida is that they have not escrowed properly for those HOAs or pulled enough back to keep up with the roofs and some of this foundational stuff.
Terrible tragedy. But if we take the tragedy away from the conversation and we just look at this as a case study for real estate, what a good case study. Wow. I mean, those people had the owners of that building. Now, remember, these were not apartments. That was a condo. So everybody was sort of individual owner.
Nobody wants to pay in a condo. Like the HOA is like the last thing people.
$15 million.
Yeah. How much?
$15 million. The inspector came to the building owners, to the HOA, and said the total amount of repairs that need to be done on this building is $15 million. And as everyone was sitting around trying to decide who was going to pay the $15 million, they were crushed to death. That's a tragedy. But the point of the case study here is absolutely right. That building got old, and it got out from under its CapEx curve. It started to have more expenses come and due than the building really justified. And that's kind of where back to I'm saying, hey, be careful about a long-term hold window. You're going to make a mistake doing that. You hold a building long enough, because that's what's going to happen is the value is going to invert on you, because you would have been better to have sold it, exited, rolled into a higher and better property, and gotten and transfer your property up. So I'm not seeing, that's where I think everybody kind of jumping back to what Jake was saying. I think it's where everybody makes the mistake in thinking about real estate. I want to buy a property and hold on to it forever. No, you don't. You want to be in real estate forever. Yes, but you need to be turning these assets over for higher and better use. And it's kind of like legacy wealth when people say, I want to leave a portfolio of real estate to my grandkids. You want your grandkids to be slumlords, because that property is going to be old as all hell by the time you wind up giving it to your grandkids. No, you want to give your grandkids a business. You want to give them education. You want to give them understanding about real estate, not an asset. Because your grandkids might hate real estate. They might not even want to be landlords or know anything about real estate. But your mindset is to force them into the business with an old property. And I'm telling you, that's a mistake. You know how many people I have bought real estate from that inherited the real estate and they dumped it. I mean, fire sailed it because granddad left it to us. We don't want it. It's old. This is garbage. And I come in and make a ton of money on that. I love legacy wealth. I love people that leave real estate to their kids, because I buy it dirt cheap most of the time. So I would be very careful about that long-term concept. Let's focus on teaching our children, teaching our families, creating a business that rinses and repeats itself, not an asset that ages and rots to the ground eventually.
Well, you are the asset is what you're talking about. You're teaching your kids to be the asset. Yes, that's right. The idea. And then they can apply these principles if they want to go into single family, they want to go into crypto, whatever that idea is.
People are putting way too much value on an individual building and not enough value on their own skill set, which is what we bring, the skill set. We're not going to find you deals. We're not going to hand you deals. We're going to show you. We're not going to hand you fish. We're going to teach you how to fish, right? There's the value. And then you can buy an older building like Jake set up in New York for 100 years old. Fine. And as it starts to decline, sell it, roll up to the next one, trade up, take your 220s, get you a 40, keep rolling. It's like, that's how you ultimately survive long-term in business. And you have to understand exit strategy in order to do that. If your mindset is I'm going to buy it, set it and forget it, that's a rotisserie chicken. That works fine for that, but not so well for real estate, not over the long term. The CapEx will get up out from under you. And that's what I'm predicting is about to occur. We've got real estate that's never gotten this old before, i.e. those properties in Miami. And it's going to be an interesting paradigm shift going forward where I see a lot of sellers that don't understand the concept are going to be very motivated to sell. And we have a lot of opportunities for us.
Well, this is where you need coaching, I think, Bill, because I think as students come in, they're not going to know how to negotiate with these sellers. These sellers are going to be then saying to themselves, well, I can't give it to you that price, and then how do you justify it? And you're going to learn negotiation. There's a SPY technique in here, the negotiation techniques. You're going to have to learn all that stuff. So it's really, really important. Before we go to the short answers, it's very important what you said. At Jake and Gino, we do create multifamily entrepreneurs. I want everyone to see this business as an entrepreneurial venture. That's why we're in multifamily. It's all about creating a business. That's what you want, and rinse and repeat. It's not just about buying a building or buying an asset, but it's also systematizing, putting the systems in. And like, once again, like Jake said, it's buy right, manage right, and finance right. You just can't set and repeat it. Somebody has to be minding the store. So
correct. There you go. That's what we teach you to do, is to actually be real business owners, because that's what I noticed. A lot of people, back to market cycles, if you don't understand how to be a real operator, how to be a real business owner, you make a lot of money when everybody makes a lot of money, and then you turn around and give it all right back. Go find somebody who's been in the business 10, 15 years. They're hard to find. Why is that? Market cycles. That's what we stop. That's what we teach you how to do, is not to be a one-trick pony, a one-sided market maker. You make money when everybody makes it, and then you go bankrupt right after that. No. That's what we teach you how to do, is make money and keep it. Just make it, but keep it. And that's why you have to understand market cycles and exit strategy and dead. You can't just buy stuff, set it, and forget it. It's a nice concept, but it really doesn't work in reality. And then since I'm be teaching syndication, and I know that you guys have not done a whole lot of syndications, but let me point out, in syndication, tell your investors when they ask you, hey, when am I going to get my money back? Tell them when your grandkids sell the property. See how many of them want to invest in you.
You got to know the exit strategy. Exactly. Yes.
It's a cute concept. It doesn't work well. I go to my investors and say, sure, I'm going to use your money to build myself legacy wealth so I can give that legacy wealth to my grandkids, and you'll get all your money back as an investor when my grandchildren sell the property. That's never going to work, guys. You can't do that. Now, once you make a bunch of money, I then think personally holding real estate forever is actually the best strategy.
You got to talk to Sam Freshman about that one, Bill.
It's just real hard to do with somebody else's money. Yeah. Holding real estate forever is exactly what you should do, just on the right property, and you can't do it with a whole bunch of other people's money. So there's a few caveats in there. But I agree with Jake completely. Long term is the right strategy. It usually takes a handful of short terms to get to one long term.
All right, let's take a quick time out here from our sponsor.
Are you looking for ways to improve your life?
Here at Jake and Gino, our mission is to empower students through financial education and the vehicle of multifamily investing.
Yes, Jake. We agree that a person with financial intelligence can change the world for the better.
We've created our proprietary 3-step framework, buy right, manage right, and finance right, that we teach to our community. This framework, along with education, our one-on-one mentorship, on-site boot camps, and the amazing community, has propelled our students to massive success.
We've all been there. We've had so many students that have been able to shift their mindset, overcome limiting beliefs, and set a clear path to achieve their goals. Whether you're currently fixing and flipping, wholesaling, or buying single-family rentals, and you know that multifamily investing is the right vehicle for you, I encourage you to visit jakeandgino.com/apply to schedule your complimentary consultation with our team. And I want to let you know this isn't a high-pressure sales call. It's really just a discovery call to get to know each other better and see if we're a good fit for working together. And if for any reason we're not a good fit, our team has tons of resources we will share with you to help you along your journey.
If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, go to jakeandgino.com/apply and schedule your call now. All right, guys, we're back. So, Bill, I know there's a new book, on the horizon. You want to give us a little teaser about that one?
Yeah, it's called Real Estate Raw, and it is the soup to nuts of real estate. If you want to know how to build a real estate portfolio, Real Estate Raw is going to be it. So, what I'm telling everybody, it is education, not motivation. I'm not here to give you a why. I'm not here to tell you should be in real estate. I'm not here to say you should do these things. But if you've got your why, I've got your how. I'll show you how to do it. The why is on you. I'm not here to suggest anybody get into the business, but if you want in, I got your information. And that is what Real Estate Raw is. It is a no nonsense approach to how a real business is really built in this space from someone who's been here through all the market cycles. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I've taken all that information and put it into a book. And that's our second book will be coming out at MM4. So that will be launching on October 23rd, Real Estate Raw. And it is a complementary book to the Creative Cash. So the Creative Cash is like how you get deals done when they're distressed or when you need to use some kind of creativity. That is a set of tools in the toolbox. Real Estate Raw is the toolbox. It's everything else. It's step by step. If you know nothing about real estate, by the time you're done with that book, you're going to at least understand how to go out and build a portfolio.
All right, 2021, got a few months left in it. What markets do you like for multifamily going into 2022?
What markets do I like? I like Phoenix. I think that's doing pretty well. I like your guys' neck of the woods, the Knoxville, Nashville, Charlotte area. I think
Charlotte's booming, huh?
Yeah, I like Atlanta because I'm in Atlanta, but at the same time, I don't really like Atlanta because it's getting very competitive. Stay out of Atlanta. No, Atlanta's just a very competitive market. I like the Southeast in general, and that is largely due to population trends and movement. We're seeing weather migration. We're seeing a lot of just different migration reasons. But if you look at sort of the population trends, highly suggest everybody go back and pull that 2021 census report, or the 2020 last census report, and really look at the net migration movement. The heaviest amount of population growth is down towards the Southeast. So I like those markets for the supply and demand aspect. It used to be that we really had to follow labor. It's like, follow the jobs. Boy, COVID kind of turned that over, didn't it? It's like now so many people work from somewhere.
I was reading this morning, there's twice as many jobs open right now compared to people unemployed able to fill them.
It's crazy. Yeah. So look where people are moving. Don't necessarily look where people are working as much. That's less of a metric. It used to be the only metric, not so much anymore. So look where people are moving to. Seems like they're moving towards the South in general. It's kind of like California is emptying out across the northern border of Mexico along Arizona towards Texas, El Paso. That whole stretch there is doing well. We're doing pretty good down here in the Southeast. I like those markets. That's probably about it. For everybody that's not in those areas, I apologize. Move. Yeah. So just watch your population trends. If you're in a city or a market that has flat growth, population growth, or negative population growth, be careful. I'm not saying you can't do business in those areas. I'm just saying if you're in a market that's not having a lot of population growth and you're willing to overpay for a deal, expecting to raise the rents a lot, I would offer a bit of caution with that business model.
So the last 5 years, I think, have been dominated by syndication. Outlook on 2022, there may be some things at play here. Inflation's been going nuts.
Yeah.
Capital gains may double. So there may be a push here at the end of 2021. We'll see what happens there. What's your outlook for 2022? You thinking more the same, or anything gets shaken up?
Yeah, I think we should expect a lessening of the easy monetary policy from the Feds, i.e., interest rates are going to go up. I expect interest rates to go up some, probably not a tremendous amount, but I think we're going to have interest rates go up some. I think the cap rate compression that we see in the market is going to stop. I think we're going to see prices not decline, but not continue up at the rate that we've seen either. And that we're going to go into a window of operations where you're going to have to kind of own and operate for a little while. So I'm looking at a window and a time frame where we're going to hold and own things longer, which is fine. But so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Fannie and Freddie are not indicating that they're loosening up their terms at any rate. We've had a lot of bridge debt swoop in to make up the gap where Fannie and Freddie have left off. I see a fair amount of that kind of starting to slow down as well.
On stabilized assets, which is the crazy thing. People are having to buy stabilized because of the price.
It's not good
right now. With
I'm trying not to be negative, but that's not good. That's
not smart.
No, I mean, not good. That's really bad.
Well, it's like this: someone's going to give you 80% loan to value, or loan to cost, which is huge, or 65%. There's a reason that the agency's telling you they're only going to lend 65%. Look at the quality of your returns there.
That's what's cool about this, though. At least they realize that and they understand that. They're not doing a 2007, 2008 crazy wacko thing. We're going to just throw all this money at you. They still
No, that's bridge
caution.
debt.
Yes.
That's bridge lenders.
With those
We're right in there with that one.
If people, the crazy thing is that would be like a perfect meme, except like 0.2% of the population would understand what the hell you're talking
Well,
about.
Bill, let me ask you a
Agreed.
question about that bridge debt, though.
That's
The
fine.
bridge debt is so expensive when you're looking at the pricing of it, a percent in, then when you refi out, they want a percent if you don't do it with them. I mean, they can be very prohibitive. So just, word to the wise out there. When you do bridge debt, jump on that. That's very important.
And again, and I'm going to kind of wax negative again. If you are using lenient money to justify overpaying for an asset, that debt is more expensive than you can even imagine. You're talking about the rate that you're paying and the interest rate.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's going to be a hell of a day when you lose that property because you overpaid and used some kind of
bad debt.
IO goofball loan from who knows what crackerjack box lender in order to get into this deal, in order to justify your bad purchase. Yeah, that's going to be the definition of expensive debt.
But
and
Bill,
you're worried about the rate at that point. Let me tell you,
that's not negative. You want to be in this business for decades, not for years. So if you have to wait another 6 months or 12 months for the market to stabilize, go out there, raise capital, start meeting investors, start making those relationships with brokers, because it's always the right time to get into this business, because you can always be doing something, whether it's out there networking at these live events, whether it's out there networking with brokers, whether it's out there building your book of business, getting the deal flow. It's going to break sooner or later. So I always say no deal is better than a bad deal.
I agree completely. I'm getting
Let me unpack this a little bit, guys, because what you're seeing right now, and this is why people are betting on this, just to give clarity, is that we have leases. Okay. We're seeing crazy inflation right now, and you can't just raise someone's rent when they have a lease. So the people that are sitting back are saying, I know what, and here's the thing, there's risk here. 2022, some economic event could happen to shatter the US economy, and you could get screwed. What these investors are betting on, and we're looking at a deal just like this, Gino, average rents were $995. We knew the competitors in the area, similar assets, were about $1,500. So we're sitting back saying we can get to that, thus making this deal look really good, barring no tragic events happening in the US, right? And so there's always risk. We think we can get there, but you may not, and you come up short and get screwed, to Bill's point. That's what's going on, because I'm telling you right now, if things stay this way, like the economy stays somewhat stable going into next year, you're going to see massive rent increases. Yeah. You're seeing it right now. So that's what these folks are betting on.
The problem there, and I was talking to my mortgage broker this morning, the problem there is let's say, Jake, you bought the property, you raised the rent, and now you want to sell me the property. But as long as you're up in the price because you upped the rent, that's a net nothing to me. Who cares that you raised the rent? You just took all the profit right off the table by raising the price. And then you turn around and okay, now I bought the property and I raised the rents a little, but then I raised the price. And then
that's the reality of the world we're in right now, though. That's what's happening.
Until it isn't. Yeah. And that's my point. So yes, the rents are going up, but so are the prices. Yeah. So it's a net nada. Who cares? You're raising the rents just to justify
that's exactly what's happening.
Overpaying.
That's 100% what's happening.
It works till it doesn't.
Yeah.
You make money till you don't. And that's why.
But dude, you've seen it. You've seen it. It was 60 a door. But like the last fight you've seen it was 60 a door was okay, good price. Then it was 80. Then all of a sudden 80 a door vanished. And then it was 100. Then 120 a door. Now it's 150. So you've seen this just monumental run up, and no one knows where the ceiling's at because they've printed 25. No, you don't. They've printed 25. They've printed 25% of the money supply in the last 18 months. Exactly. If they continue to do that, it's going to continue to go up. Will the economy potentially crash? Yes, possibly. But if they continue pumping money in, though, the rents will continue to go up. So that's what, as an investor, you're saying, where the F is the ceiling? That's the problem with this right now.
Returns. There's your ceiling right there. It's not a ceiling, it's a floor. So if I raise the rents, but you raise the price, the returns made from that property are static. They don't go up.
That's not the money. The money disagrees with you right now because it's flowing in like crazy.
Totally agree. Until it realizes the problem that's going on. So it's like, okay, if I raise the rents, but then I raise the price, then you're not making any more money. And what will occur is people are going to figure out that the returns produced by these prices are not competitive with other asset classes. I mean,
the problem being though, is they haven't had to rely on that, Bill, because one guy comes up and then they flip it for an extra 20 grand a door, and then they flip it for an extra 20 grand a door.
Right.
That's what we're seeing. So it doesn't, it's the return is irrelevant at this point, because everyone's just glorified fix and flippers at this point. If they're fixing it all, right?
I love that comment, because if return is irrelevant, and I hope that it is, and I hope
return is irrelevant on a cash on cash basis. Return, what we're talking, not on a monthly return. We're talking about, no, but what I'm talking about is it's the return on the back end that people are counting on. So they hold it for a year or two, and then they sell it for more. They're not forced to operate and make a cash on cash return payment every month as they should. And if they are, what we see the problem is a lot of people are pulling from CapEx to make those payments, which I think is unethical. But
all those comments are exactly
like
why
if you just want to see the skirt pulled up or look behind the scenes of some of these syndications, that's what's going on, folks. Just be
let me ask you guys this question, because I ask students this question a lot, and I think it's be good for our listeners. All right, Jake, do you own any stocks?
No.
Personal question. All right, so let's assume you did. Let's say, or Gino, maybe I don't know. So let's say, I ask students all the time. All right, good for you guys. I don't either, by the way. But let's say I ask
everything I own is physical.
Same here. Hello. So I ask people all the time, hey, do you own some stocks? And they say, yeah, I own some stocks. And I say, okay, listen, did the dividends go up? Do your stocks pay a dividend? And they say, no, they don't pay a dividend. And I say, okay, over the last year, did your stock value go up? And they go, oh, yeah, what up? Why?
But people are willing to pay more.
Why? There's no dividend.
Because people are willing to pay more.
So is multifamily go into that mode right there? Hey, did your property make any money? No. Did it go from value? Yeah. Why?
Let me make two distinctions.
Ooh, careful.
Let me make two distinctions. The first thing is money flows. So as an investor, you need to know where the money's flowing. Right now, money's flowing to hard assets. They know they see inflation. So you're buying a basic human need with multifamily. And the other benefit that we don't have time to talk about is tax benefits. So you're getting all these other ancillary benefits. When you're owning a stock, you have no control. It can be up to the whim of the board. And like you said, if it doesn't produce a dividend, if it doesn't produce a yield, then you're just basically not investing. You're speculating, which is okay. And that's what's been going on in the real estate industry with multifamily. A lot of speculators out there. We thought we were at a high because, you're seeing people buy a deal, then 18 months later, they flip it over. That's going to start to slow down. It's starting to slow down right now. So that's how we're approaching the high, or maybe we're passing it. So all we're saying here is, this conversation can go on for hours. And that's what I love about Bill. We can talk about this for hours because it's thought provoking. Not just because you have one question leads to another question, which leads to another question, which leads, and that's.
I think you just tell us to shut up, Bill.
No, not at all. I'm just saying
5-minute clock, 10 minutes. 3 minutes.
I'm just saying, it's important to really get educated and to learn all of the strategies. Jake and I buy and hold, seller financing, master lease options, syndication, all of these strategies we need to learn, because the more tools in your tool belt, the more able you are to take a deal down, because you're going to look at a deal. We call it the race to 80. Maybe it's the race to 100 right now, because we're looking at 100 deals to take that one deal. Well, the more strategies and techniques and tools that you have at your disposal, you're going to be able to find a deal a lot quicker. That's my only point.
Agreed. And let me jump back in here and say, hey, look, if you're listening to this right now and you've enjoyed the conversation, or you didn't understand the conversation, or you hate it, or you love it, MM4. It's going to be 2 days of absolutely nothing but what we're doing right now with 900 other people, exactly sitting around having these conversations. Everybody has a different opinion. Everybody, has their own strategy. This is the room where you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of people all sitting around a giant table having these conversations. So if this has helped you or confused you or anything,
Hey, and this is the community of free speech, because clearly Bill and I completely, I'm a long-term buy and hold investor, put the money back in the property, let that sucker cash flow, right? We completely disagree, and that's okay. It's free speech here. I'm waving an American flag. We're good with it, guys. We don't got to get triggered and offended here. We can have a difference of opinion.
Absolutely.
But the great thing about it is
and
you sort of don't, because if you think about it, you're both entrepreneurs and you're both looking at it as a business. That's ultimately what you're looking at it as. You're looking at it as a business.
It's a different strategy, personal preference.
What always cracks me up, especially and I love getting you guys riled up on stage for people that know this, is that I love to create an argument between the three of us where we're all technically basically agreeing
Saying
on
the
the
same
same
shit.
conversation.
Yes.
I just approach it from some angle that seems disruptive, and then we all have an argument. We pretty much
He
say the
fucking
exact same
baits us, Gino.
love doing it. I love it. Like, I like goals. You know, I ultimately believe in goals, but I like approaching it from a point of view that's disruptive. And so then you two wind up yelling at me about goals, and then we all go, yeah, we're pretty much saying the same thing at the end of the day. We're all pretty much saying the thing. Oh, yeah, I agree. So we all get to the same location through different paths, and no one path is the right way. Something different for everybody. The idea is you've got to gather your information and make your decision in your path. But if you don't have the information, you're not going to be armed and educated enough to choose correctly. Whatever your path is, you're likely to choose wrong without the education. So that's what we're here for.
I agree. And let me take this home, Jake, from that fateful day. It was July of 2018 because Josh started with us in March of 2018. So July of 2018 with crappy air conditioning, hot conditions in Atlanta, sketchy area. We meet Bill Ham. And as they say, the rest is history. Over 20,500 units from the student community. We're changing lives. I spoke to another gentleman named Michael Orlando today. He's a 27-year-old. He joined the community in 18 months. He's gone. He quit his job. His goal is to hit 500 units.
He's financially free. I think Gino's telling us.
He's amazing. So I mean, it's just unbelievable what we've been able to accomplish, and it's really long-term mindset. It's really investing in yourself, and that's one of the reasons why you need to be at MM4 October 23rd and 24th. Link is in the show notes. Bill, where can they get a hold of you if they want to learn a little bit more?
I just found the emoji button for the first time. I'm like a 4-year-old, by the way. I didn't know that was there. I see these like things popping up on Jake's screen now, and now there's emojis. I like that. And there's my hand.
Oh, he's got two going.
Cool. What would you say? Where can you get in touch with me? Is that what you said? Gino?
Yes.
Bill Ham, bill.ham at GB. No, hold on, let me give you an easier one. Bill at gobroadwell.com. There's my email. I've got like 5 emails. Bill at gobroadwell.com. Broadwell is BROADWELL. Bill at gobroadwell.com. And you can find us at creativeapartmentdeals.com. That's the book, and we have some other information there. And Broadwell Property Group is also my home site. So you can find me all those different places.
Thanks, Bill.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Anything else,
Jake?
guys?
Put my hand down. Hold up.
Hey, we'll see you October 23rd, 24th in Orlando. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, everybody.